Steve, would you read the pledge of allegiance? Please, God.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I know of no changes to the agenda, so we need to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt tonight's agenda. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimously. So now the next item is to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the July 2019 meeting, paying of the bills, classified personnel action, and surplus items, and I'll let you guys review that stuff for a few minutes.
The flooring, was that doing the gym floor and
Which one?
Best
The
Buy flooring?
Best Buy was actually the library in here and over at the elementary school, correct?
Okay. I move we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, action items. Well, I guess, informational reports. Let's have the financial report first.
The future number first.
Yeah, but I don't think we have anybody that has patron input, unless you want to discuss the bus route now.
No, I didn't know if Pat wanted to talk about
I talked to him. I think we'll discuss it and then at the time when we're discussing.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We got it covered.
Okay, so for the financial reports, I'm sorry I don't have any extra reports for you tonight. I actually met with Jen today. 4 of them came in and we did the audit today. It seemed to go pretty well. They were here most of the day, and Jen and I will be talking back and forth across, via emails and that kind of thing to get finished up on it, because we're hoping to have it finished up for our meeting in October. So.
Any questions, financial questions? Okay, we'll move on to the technology director's report.
Well, summer rapidly closing here. Out of my list for the summer, probably about 85% of it got completed, so pretty aggressive for stuff we needed to get done this summer. If you get a chance to go look at my room at the elementary, it's chock full. I've got waste recycling coming up the next few weeks to pick all that stuff up and take it away. A lot. The main focus we're going to push for this year is on security, and so we are partnering with a company to do our security training for us. So we're going to have an initial rollout here that will actually hit tomorrow, and all users will be required to complete the security training, and then along with that they'll have a digitally signed copy of their user agreement. And then we will have quarterly training that will be appropriate to what each individual person does. So obviously back office staff are going to have a different set of security requirements than a classroom teacher or an aide. So with the amount of attacks that are going on, especially now on education, hackers seem to think that it's a good soft target to hit, that, you know, we'd be more than happy to pay to get our stuff back. And so there's a lot of security holes, and so we're trying to step up and fix that and improve our posture. But where it all starts is with security training. We've got to get people more knowledgeable and more vigilant about things that are going on inside the network. So just a few things. Bus garage is all wired and ready to go. There's actually a phone that's connected to our network down there. There's wireless down there now. It's now officially a part of the district. And the ag shop has gotten 7 additional laptops to go out there that the kids can use for the plasma cutting software, because that was one of the concerns that Fife had last year, was the fact that we've only got basically room for like 3 computers out there, which we replaced and upgraded this summer. But when you've got 10 in a class and the software only runs on Windows, it's a kind of a proprietary piece of software. We just happen to have some of the donated equipment that we stood up and have up there. It's going to be a nightmare to try and keep it up and going because it's a Windows-based product, but you know, we'll tackle that as it goes. So that's what I've got right now. Does somebody have any questions for me? All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. JHS principal's report.
Oh, that's me. Yeah. First off, I want to say thank you to Joe and his crew, Eric and Jerry and Suzanne, for doing a wonderful job in our building and with all the maintenance and upkeep and new things. Appreciate that. Also, board members, we launched the Leader in Me today. We had training. We had 22 of us at our building, and today was day 1, and it was pretty awesome. So thank you for that. Other than that, we've got online registration was successful for most of our patrons and students. We have about 130 students currently enrolled. So last year we ended at 144. So hoping to increase that. That's about it.
What's the kindergarten size?
18. So they'll be rolling in, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you, Doris. Superintendent's report.
Okay, at the high school, we also have registration going on. That seems to be going pretty well. We have the majority of our kids registered. Most of them did it online. We had a few come in at face-to-face registration the other day. We still have a few more to go. But we're pretty close, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Our new teacher, Mrs. Krause, has been moving in, and she's been working throughout the summer, and is ready to go. Mrs. Ingalls will be her mentor. We have our mentor program. I put that form on the next page just to give you an idea of what that looks like. There's a monthly schedule for new teachers that come into the district, and then teachers can earn a leadership premium by being the mentor with this schedule. Fall sports participation numbers right now, we've got 2 in cross country, 17 in football, cheer 7, and volleyball 17. That could change by 1 or 2 up or down. And cross country paused, and they're going to start up again when school starts, see if they can get some more kids out. And I'm sure they probably will. For the district, Dory and I went to the IASA conference a few weeks ago in Boise. For superintendents, and probably for everybody, but especially for superintendents, there was really a focus on early literacy. So if you're watching the news, you're going to see that that's one of the focuses for the governor, early literacy, and then the other one is college and career readiness. His task force that he has going right now, and they're cruising right along, they basically have parameters of early literacy and college and career readiness. So there's really a focus on that right now. In Idaho, we measure that with the IRI. It looks to me, we'll see, but it looks to me like there's going to be a lot of, what they would call accountability based on the IRI K through 3 coming out of that task force, but we'll see. One of the sessions that I went to, just to kind of reiterate what Dan was talking about at the IASA conference, was on security. And it was interesting, and Dan can speak to this better than I can, but there was some tech guys from around the state giving a presentation, and some of the things that they talked about is when it comes to security in a district, oftentimes we visualize people trying to hack into our systems. They said 90 or maybe even more than 90% of the times that districts are hacked, it's because people on the inside let them in. And so that's what, like, some of the training that Dan is talking about would look like, helping us protect ourselves from scams. And they're becoming a lot more sophisticated. They used to be easily identified by the poor grammar. The certain words didn't make sense, but they're getting better. And one of the guys that was presenting, he was from Nampa, and he showed a map. They were able to, maybe everyone can do this, I don't know. They mapped like where people were trying to access their system from in different ways, and they showed a map, and there was basically dots all over the globe that were trying to get into that district. Anyway, it's interesting. So we've got some training up for that. Personnel, we are still looking for a part-time kitchen at JES. We're going to start the year with a sub and keep working at it. JES Special Education, we're good there now. And bus drivers, we're still looking. We're going to start the year with subs. It's an ongoing challenge, but I feel like we're making some progress.
Tom took his final test today, passed. So if we can bring him on, that would be great. He'll be.
And if we can get one more route driver, is that where we are? Right?
Well, we are.
After him.
Yeah, we got Charlie and Paul both agreed to come back from retirement and fill in the gaps until we can get them filled.
Yeah, so we're still looking for somebody long term. There's a new fees lawsuit that we anticipate being named in. This one's out of West Ada. This one focuses on kindergarten. We do not have any fees associated with kindergarten as far as attendance or anything like that. I've submitted a first round of responses to our attorneys on this. Records requests, just informational. The number of records requests we are getting just seems to be increasing by the week from various organizations in and outside the state, and it's taking up more and more time. Did you guys say that's accurate? Yeah.
Is there any way we can charge a fee for the information they're requesting?
They seem to be really good at making sure that they're in the parameters and not being charged.
We do have a policy though that talks about some numbers and stuff, and if we need to revamp it, we can do that.
Yeah. That's just informational. The all-staff back-to-school meeting is in the morning. Board members are invited. We're going to be here at 8 o'clock. We're going to have coffee and fruit and cinnamon rolls. We'll welcome everybody back. Go through some housekeeping things, and it'll be similar to last year. The elementary is doing another round of Leader in Me training tomorrow, so we have to make sure and get them back to JES in time for that. So, but I think that'll be just fine. The ISBA region, fall region meetings are coming up. Those are September 18th. Do you guys get notices for that? Yeah. You do? Okay, so that's on your radar.
Okay, postcard in the mail.
School-wide meeting, right?
September 18th?
Yep.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay. Well, never mind that. Okay, I think that's all I have there. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. Steve, trustee reports?
I attended the last meeting we had in Lapway a few weeks ago. Pretty much went over what Steve just said as good security. That seemed to be the main focus all over the state. There was some discussion about funding because of the shortfall that was, I think, going to happen. And what else? They turned into a session where board members were complaining about what their students were like up there in different districts. So we're not the only one that has problems with some students, so we're all on the same boat.
Okay, we'll go on to the action items and approve the bus route for 2019. So, discuss that, Steve.
Joe? Yeah, come on, yeah.
Well, I started to share with you that out of the 6 employees there at transportation, 4 had retired or left. And again, we've talked to Charlie and Paul to coming back and helping us out till we get someone to replace them. So I appreciate that. Again, we have a new guy that's went through all the testings. Tom Hunt is his name. He's a 35-year employee in education through Alaska, California. Seems to be a real good guy, and I hope to see him on the Southwick route. I've got Joe Dean on the Leland route. I'll have Calvin on the Bear route. And I'll have the activity bus will be Calvin and Tom, and doing the activities, possibly Tony as well. So in the Julietta route, we'll start with Charlie, and then Eric Shaline is interested in doing testing to go into transportation as well. And so that's the report on the drivers, where we're at there. I'm working on the iBus, and that's an educational trial for me, but I've had Alvin in about 16 hours now, and we've gone through a number of things like iBus and getting that figured out, and I appreciate Kim and Amy for helping me out with that as well, and so it's coming together. I'm starting to get a grasp on some areas, and all the buses are cleaned and ready for the school year. All our vehicles have been cleaned inside and out. We have got our red flags replaced with good reports now, and so we're ready to go. Any questions? Thank you.
What about, you talk about routes, like as far as changes to routes?
Changes to routes, and then
I've been talked with the Southwick issue up here with Pat, and in that I have determined that that request is out of our district and off of the maps that we've studied, and I would like to stay as it is, and with that, that's what I'm requesting. But we have looked at the issue at hand and have calculated that probably going to put on another 25 to 30 minutes on the route as well. And anytime you go out of route or out of district, those miles are not reimbursable. So, and the other issue is on the Cooks Canyon route. That would be Julietta. There's been a request for that as well. I did go up there as well and looked it over. And in the history of the district, we've had a bus come off of the switchback, which is up past Rod Cook's area. You go across the bridge and it has a hard switchback. And a few years back, the bus slid off of that. I would recommend that we continue to pick up at the highway. As I believe at this point there's just maybe one up there. Yeah, so I would ask for that to be the low. Then here's another issue, and that's turning the bus around on that route up at the end, visiting with the county. That is a very tight spot to try to turn around, and it's even going to get worse in the wintertime. And again, we've had bus slide completely off of that road there by the switchback.
So no changes to routes as
I
well?
recommend no changes, correct.
Okay, I don't know if Pat wants to talk to the issue of his route, or you want me to try to explain your issue, or what are we doing?
You can try.
Okay.
Say
Well,
better.
if you want to say something, so Pat's issue is that, you know, he's willing to take his daughter to somewhere closer, right, in the morning, but in the evenings he'd like her taken to basically the county line. And this is a new thing to me. I thought the county line was the school district line. When I read the description of my, what my area was, I thought it said the county line, and the description described the county line. So maybe it doesn't. I don't know what the issue is there. But so in the evenings, he'd like her delivered to the county line. I guess there's gray areas both ways. She is an out-of-district student, but we are getting the money for the student, right? Because she's going to come to Kendrick. So there's that kind of an issue. There's also the safety issue, if we're going to accept her as a student, making sure she gets home. You know, we want to do that right. So.
And half his farm is in our district and half is out of the district, so
Right.
it's another.
He does pay taxes to the county
Right.
school district.
Right.
But I think his house where they reside is in the Orofino School District.
And they've
Anyway, so
given us
that's it.
permission to go over there.
Hmm.
Have they given us permission to go into their district?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, I mean, going into it, I mean, from Joe and I's perspective, like if we're gonna go outside the district to either pick kids up or drop them off, we figured that should come from the school board. I mean, it's no skin off our back, but we're gonna follow our policy and the law to the T and let you guys decide if we're gonna go outside the district or not. We figured that's probably the best approach. So, based on what I'm looking at in my conversation with Joe and Alvin, is if we're gonna go on that road, McIver Road, it looked to me like we're gonna have to go up and over like towards Freeman Creek and then go opposite of Freeman Creek down McIver Road and make a loop back to Southwick in order to do it. The alternative is turning around in somebody's driveway, but you never know where you're gonna get there as far as, especially in the wintertime and stuff, but that's what it looked like to me. So I think when Joe talked about if we do that, that would add, you know, whatever it is, 20 or 25 minutes maybe, to loop around.
The driver gets full benefits on that route anyway, doesn't he?
Yeah, so we anticipate, Tom Hunt is who we want to put on that route, and you saw in the consent agenda that that's Paul's route, so he was full-time. And so, yeah, that part doesn't change.
Right.
And honestly, we wanted to use Tom for some custodial stuff as well, because Eric is going to be driving around eventually, because we need drivers. So the full-time, half-time thing isn't really an issue.
Just one fear I have is it opens up a kind of Pandora's box for others to ask. And
Right.
Well, we've had that in other times before, though. We've had kids from Deary cross the line and got kids in Deary and brought them down, and that was a major issue.
And a few years ago, we picked up kids at where he wants his daughter dropped off at. And we thought it was the Kendrick School District, I guess, because we did it like 5 years ago. And Judy used to make the loop, so I don't know.
The Kendrick buses pick kids up there since the 1960s, ever since I was a kid. I went to school with the McIver kids, and the McIver house where it burnt down is about 500-600 feet from Wally Newman's house, county line. Wally Newman's kid went to Orofino. Bus turned around, Kendrick bus turned around right in front of his house. There's room to do that. Just makes a loop. And he came back. The McIver kids went to Orofino because they signed a petition. They had to sign a petition to go to Orofino. Their mom taught in Orofino, so they wanted to go to Orofino. After they grew up and left, everybody in that house came to Kendrick. Judy Foster drove by my house up to 5 years ago every morning. You could set the clock with Judy Foster, 10 after 7. She went by my house, and she came over from Albert Lawrence's, came down McIver Road, picked up those kids. If the Rope Center kids was going to school there, she picked them up and came on back to town. Orofino doesn't have an issue with it. I already talked to Mike, said it looks like the thing to do. I didn't know, and this is the first I ever knew, and I'm not going to argue about it, don't matter, but the map, they say, shows the district line for down by Tom and King's house by Driscoll Road. And it's like Orofino says, why would they do that? There's not even a house down there. There's no place to turn a bus around down there. Nobody lives down there, so, I mean, everybody always thought it was the county line. And what we're asking, what I'm getting out of this, it makes it sound like we're going out of district. It makes it sound like we're going a long ways. We're not going a long ways. It's not very far at all. And, you know, make a guy ought to make a trip to Nez Perce County Commissioners and tell them we need to quit paying taxes in the Kendrick School District. We could also do that. We're paying on about 400 acres.
Does anybody have any other input?
Well, just one other question, just based on your presentation. So were there 2 requests by 2 separate families?
That is correct.
And we're saying we're considering one and not the other? Kind of based on what I'm hearing, is that, I mean, I worry a little bit about what that creates.
Well, the one on Middle Potlatch, that's the one that we've talked about it. I think we've talked about it at board meetings maybe. And it's just a matter of taking our big bus up that road.
Mhm.
Is that one district,
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
just the Turner's?
Yeah.
That one's in
Issue.
district though.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of getting the big bus up there and turning
Thank
around
you.
and stuff.
Right. Well, if we don't take a bus to that one, we have to pay them another transportation.
Right, yeah.
And if a bus is slid off the road there, it's kind of a bad thing for us to be doing now. Well, I move we let, take a bus to Pat's place, to the county line and pick up his daughter.
I'll second it.
So the agenda item is approving the bus routes. So approving the bus routes with picking up, going down the Kuiper Road.
If I could, I know there's a motion out there, but maybe it's, could we do it for a trial period and reevaluate, just to make sure it's working with your drivers and with your team.
I think that's a good, that would be a good option. You know, if the roads are plowed and it's a safe route, we're not having it. I understand, Pat, you know, that it has had it for years. You know, if it's not going to create a safety issue, and that's my main concern with this, we can give it a try.
Well, what safety issues would we be looking at? That maybe I can help, maybe we can't.
But doesn't Clearwater, isn't that a county road? That's a county road, so it's plowed whenever the snow is, isn't there?
Well, Clearwater's not very good at plowing snow. But
We
the
know that.
guy we got up here isn't very good either, that replaced parsley. And I don't know which way, in the past, there's been 3 ways they've done that. And I'm not gonna tell you which way to do it whichever way you wanna do it. The bus has came over from Three Bear and turned and went by my place and came back to town. It's done that. Judy Foster did that for 5 or 6 years. It has came across 0 Point and picked up the kids and turned around right there on my place. It has gone on past there to Wally Newman's house, which is about 600 feet, and just looped around and came back at the county line. I don't know how you guys would want to do it. It makes no difference to me.
If the weather's good, it seems like just driving down and turning around would be the best option. If there's snow and you have to worry about driveways being plowed, you might have to loop around on the highway, I don't know.
I would say you could always loop around right in front of Wally Newman's house.
And that's plowed? And that's plowed?
Yeah, it's where Nespers and Clearwater come together.
And hopefully that's where they turn around if the snowplow goes, but, yeah. That's why it should be able to loop around there, but, I guess we could request Nespers County when they plow that, they do loop around there.
They did last winter,
Yeah.
and I would have more faith in Nespers County than Clearwater County. I've argued with them for years and I've got no place. In fact, at the last hearing I was to, they thought that Pat Henderson was going to come in, they were going to pat him on the back on how great he was and walk him out the door. But there was 88 people behind Pat Henderson, and a bunch of those old women weren't very nice to those commissioners. And 5 hours later, they were wanting rid of us. But I told them in that hearing that the Kendrick School District should put a plow in front of Judy Foster's bus because she goes by my house at 10 after 7, and Clearwater County usually gets there about 11 to plow. Didn't do no good. But I would say, you're right, I would come across 0 Point, and I can see that my place is plowed out. If not, you can go right to the county line 600 feet farther and turn around right at the county line. It's always plowed out.
So I don't know what you wanted to do with the motion. You want to make it contingent upon,
I don't know, maybe just to review
Or
that
maybe
winter,
Well,
you know,
we could review it sometime.
mid-year and just make sure,
Yeah,
that,
next
you
year
know,
we
and
can
at
review it.
the transportation director's
Yeah.
discretion if it's working.
You can just do it, and then if it becomes an issue, I'll put it on an agenda sometime
Right.
to amend the bus routes.
if it becomes too big of an issue, we'll just not have to do it. I mean, this is just, I don't think the board would support it if it becomes too big of an issue, so it's fine. We'll see how it works.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pat.
So we need an official vote on this. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimously.
May I say something, please?
Yeah.
There is, I want to say some things. It's not about that. It's about an issue that we have in transportation, and I want everybody to be aware of it, and I'm concerned about it.
Do we need to be in executive session for it?
I don't know. Is this something we need to be in executive session for?
Is it regarding personnel or?
Yeah, we got a camera here, so.
Yeah.
Okay. I visited with you about it earlier today, about the communications.
Oh, yeah. You know what, I was gonna talk about that in my superintendent report. Mention it, I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
It's just all part of the,
Yeah.
all part of your report.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on this a little bit and give you guys some insight. Our buses on their routes haven't had communications with the school secretaries or with the director for some time, and I know it's been 5 years plus. And that concerns me a lot. And I've visited with Dan on that, and they're trying to get some grants put together with the fire and ambulance and the sheriff's and the highway patrol. Well, I'm bringing it to you guys' attention, and I'm asking if we could use, we could grab another gear to make this, we need to be more aggressive in getting this cleaned up. I don't want to see us in a situation in one of these valleys, we got a bus tipped over and a kid's hurt and bleeding, and we aren't getting any communications. So I'm asking that we come together on this issue and resolve it. So I just wanted to let you know about that. So thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Thank you. Okay, so I think we've taken care of the rest of that. Let's consider the continuous improvement plan for next year. Consider it, do we need to approve it? We need to approve it.
Yeah, as long as we're comfortable approving it. It's due October, in October. The district leadership team works on this throughout the year, making changes as we see fit. We just review the sections each month. With these continuous improvement plans, the state board has basically said from year to year, once you're established, you're not going to have a lot of changes in the plan. You're going to have more changes in the reporting measures when you're reporting the data. And that's where we have everything updated with last year's information. There's been a few little tweaks to it as far as requirements go, but and we've made those, but there hasn't been a lot.
I move we approve the continuous improvement plan for 2019-2020.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the 2019-2020 continuous improvement plan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimously. Approve the 2019-2020 leadership premium.
Now, before we get in there, and I apologize for this, I had to leave a message for Kate Cashman. Can I just pop out there and make sure he got picked up and
Oh,
is sitting
sure.
out there
Sure, we'll
waiting
take-
for me?
we'll take-
I'll just be like 30
We'll just take
seconds.
a few minutes.
Thank you.